The United States has erupted.
It's the army. That's the army who just came.
The brutal killing of George Floyd by police has sparked grief and anger.
This dude's smug with his hands in his pocket and shit, with his knee on somebody's throat, with his handcuffs on his back. Something's very wrong with the police. It doesn't feel like we're a democracy, and it certainly ain't a country of freedom.
It's exposed the racism, violence, and inequality plaguing America.
How can you tell people how to release their own pain when you don't even know this pain?
5 years ago, we travelled to the US and into the heart of the Black Lives Matter movement. Now we're returning to hear from those battling for justice.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice.
This is not a tourist site. This is not a carnival. This is sacred ground. Say his name.
George Floyd.
Say his name.
George Floyd.
Say his name.
A simple street corner in Minneapolis has become a shrine. This is where George Floyd was killed by police on May 25th.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name.
His name has been added to a long roll call of African Americans who have lost their lives to police violence.
I prayed first, and I cried like a baby, because I'm tired of seeing our brothers and our sisters killed and nobody cares about it. We need to all be weeping. The country needs to be weeping. I'm a Jesus man. On Christ I live, and on Christ I die. Hallelujah. Come on, somebody. Hallelujah. But I have to ask, what would Jesus do? What would Jesus do? He'd be right out here with you.
This city has some of the worst levels of racial inequality in the United States. African Americans here are 3 times more likely than whites to be unemployed and 11 times more likely to be in jail.
I'm baffled by the Babylon who killed my kind and carried on. Born a vagabond, not a paradox, a paragon.
I didn't get into shit, they got into me. You feel me? These police got on my tailbone and damn near killed me.
Max Graves is a survivor of police violence in Minneapolis. He's lucky to be alive. Just like George Floyd, he was restrained in a chokehold.
Choke me out, tase me, mace me. Choking me out because I'm screaming I can't breathe. Because you got mace and everything else in me and I have asthma and, you know, I can't breathe.
Max was arrested on this street on a night out in 2008, despite not committing a crime.
Punched me repeatedly all in my head and tased me all in my sides. Got tased 6 times, they maced me in my mouth, all while I'm hogtied. The crowd is just watching like, get off of him.
Max's twin brother stepped in just in time.
The one for my boy would have died. Every time I think about that shit really fucks me up, man. Because if George would have had his twin brother out here, if he would have had a twin, he probably would have survived. Because it takes a lot of love for you to go against something you're scared of. My brother, he loved me to death.
Max took legal action alleging the police violence was solely based on race. The case was settled out of court in 2011.
When you're a black man in America and you be trying to do right and do good, it's like you always get slapped with the reality that America is built off of slavery and is racist and is never, ever built for black people to come to no equal terms with the white man, with the white man. They got whole barbed wire. These are the real convicts right here.
Minneapolis police have prided themselves on being progressive, but the city's own records show they use force against black people 7 times more than against whites.
They really tried to build a wall with this bullshit. You know the Minneapolis Police Department. You know their ways. You know how crooked they are. So to see them doing that to that brother, just imagine your loved one going through that. Like, just imagine a black man. We just keep catching white folks on TV all the time, and we just kneeing them to death. You just gonna catch this knee and just fuck them up. And then not only do they probably, when the man gets to come back and go to work.
4, 3, 2, so long. About time we come up. About time we come up.
The killing of George Floyd was not an isolated incident.
A man shot by Minneapolis police has died.
Families say that Jamar Clark was...
It was the latest in a long series of violent, racist arrests by Minneapolis police.
My son loved this city, and this city killed my son.
Lock him up. If you'd have started locking them up then, we wouldn't be dead.
When no charges were laid, protests began.
Growing outrage in Minneapolis over the death of a black man in police custody. Thousands of demonstrators taking to the streets, blocking intersections as police used tear gas to push back the crowd.
That's all we want is justice. Tired of being sick and tired, man. All my brothers and sisters, last 400 years, tired of being sick and tired, man.
George Floyd! Say it loud! George Floyd! Say it proud!
Police responded with violence, and the situation quickly deteriorated. Activists delivered a message.
The reason why buildings are burning are not just for our brother George Floyd. They're burning down because people here in Minnesota are saying to people all across this nation, enough is enough. Yes. And there's an easy way to stop it. Arrest the cops. Charge the cops. Charge them in every city across America where our people are being murdered.
The fury over George Floyd's death soon spread from coast to coast and around the world.
Aboriginal lives matter. Black lives matter.
Violence continued in New York despite the 11 o'clock curfew that just expired. This time the violence stretched into the Bronx.
Everybody that's standing over there, what's going to happen is when we start walking, y'all going to be walking too. That's not going to work. We need everybody to get behind. The violence did not start with protesters. They were in their homes actually trying to stay safe from COVID. The violence began when Chauvin and the other officers responsible murdered and tortured George Floyd. The violence began in that moment. And so that's where the focus has to be in order to stop the after effects of the original sin.
What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. If we don't get it,
shut it down.
If we don't get it,
shut it down.
If we don't get it,
shut it down.
I said if we don't get it,
shut it down. This country was actually built on white supremacist ideology. And therefore, it is deeply ingrained in every single system and institution in America.
Breonna Taylor.
What is happening in this moment, as we see people joining this movement, and particularly white people joining the movement, I think they are now finding out that they have to dismantle the system that was created by white people. Black folks can't dismantle a system that we did not design.
I said we all we got. We all we need. I said we all we got. We all we need. All we got. Don't let me down. All we got. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. It's occurred to me. I'll be staring out the window at a world that doesn't see. And my skin can feel the window. Never once occurred to me. I'll be staring out the window and my skin.
The protests are close enough to the White House that President Trump can see them.
We are ending the riots and lawlessness that has spread throughout our country. Mayors and governors must establish an overwhelming law enforcement presence until the violence has been quelled. If a city or state refuses to take the action, then I will deploy the United States military and quickly solve the problem for them.
Is the right direction for police today to go out and dominate?
Let me just say this to the president. Please, if you don't have something constructive to say, keep your mouth shut.
Art Acevedo represents police chiefs from the biggest cities across the US and Canada.
The United States has 18,000 police departments with 800,000 police officers.
In his city of Houston, Chief Acevedo has his own challenges with police violence, a problem replicated across the country.
It's time to have a national standard, choose our more critical policies, and have a one model policy that needs to be adopted across the nation. Because as we now know, and we've always known, what happens in Ferguson impacts the whole department. What happens in Houston impacts the whole country. What happens in Minneapolis, look at what's happened. We cannot have places like the Houston Police Department where unless you're in a fight for your life, you're not allowed to manipulate people's necks, to choke their necks, to put your knee on their necks. But yet in 2020, we have departments to allow that. That's unconscionable, and it's time for us to have a national policy discussion that is one size for every agency, small and large, because in this department, unless you're in a fight for your life, you cannot be manipulating the neck like that.
Last year in the US, 89 police were killed in the line of duty, including 41 from accidents.
The vast majority will never shoot anybody, they'll never kill anybody, they'll never abuse anybody, and they will serve with honor and distinction.
They take black life in every way. They just use the gun about once a day.
But last year, police killed more than 1,000 people in the US. African Americans are 3 times more likely than whites to be the victims.
Federal prosecutors say they will not bring criminal charges against a New York City
jury acquitted a white former police officer who shot and killed.
99% of the police who kill do not face criminal charges.
Ever since 401 years ago, the reason we could never be who we wanted and dreamed to be in is you kept your knee on our neck. To stand up in George's name and say, get your knee off our necks.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday.
I do believe that we shall overcome. I believe blackness shines brighter than the sun. I do believe that the time is now, and I refuse to ever have to bow my head down. My flag is beautiful, beautiful, wonderful, wonderful.
In 2015, Foreign Correspondent travelled to Baltimore. The city was reeling after young black man Freddie Gray was killed by police. His death triggered an uprising.
Prosecutors in Baltimore dropped all remaining charges against 3 police officers in the Freddie Gray case.
Justice for Freddie Gray! Justice for Freddie Gray! Justice for Freddie Gray!
Black Lives Matter. The revolution is still the solution. The black family, justice for Freddie, man. I live Freddie Gray, man.
It was like a movie. Like, I still can't believe it happened.
Young photographer Devin Allen was there when the city erupted.
It's forever changed Baltimore, and it changed me forever.
We report from Baltimore, where the governor of Maryland has declared a state of emergency, and the mayor of Baltimore has announced a week-long curfew beginning tomorrow night.
Together we united!
Tell you you got a right. You got a right to kill life. Tell you you got a right. You got a right to kill life.
Devin Allen took to the streets with his camera. His local knowledge put him ahead of the media pack, and his images went viral, all the way to the cover of Time magazine. They told a much deeper story than many of the mainstream media outlets.
I understood the power of photography, and I knew that people needed to see the real story and what was really going on. You know, they were just sticking to the script. If it bleeds, it leads, and that's all they were worried about. They wasn't talking about how, you know, we took our community back.
Now, 5 years later, we've come back to hear from activists who were on the front line. For Devin, fame and success have come at a heavy price.
You get to do the interviews, you get to travel the world and do lectures and stuff like that. Yes, but every day that I wake up, every time I make an accomplishment, anything that I do, in the back of my brain, I know the reason why I am here, because a black man had his spine broke and was murdered by police brutality.
Oh, he did? Oh, okay.
I got a time cover in May. My mother had to call the police on me to stop me from hurting myself and take me to the hospital, right? When the police realized who I was, they said, "You that kid that took the time cover. Why the fuck you trying to kill yourself? You powerful as shit." The police told me this in the back of the wagon when they take me to the hospital. I woke up handcuffed to the bed, man. I thought it made me weak, you know, because I felt like I wasn't a man at that point. My family was like, "Nah, you tough. You've been through some shit." I'm my ancestors' wildest dreams. But no one else was on that street that captured that image or anything close to it. And the universe spoke to me once I came through those dark times. It was like, this is your purpose. It is a burden, but it's a burden that I have to bear, you know? I owe it to my people.
Back in 2015, we met community activist J.C. Falk trying to rebuild the neighbourhood.
Yeah. You always know how to find me, man.
Even today, the legacy of Freddie Gray looms large.
Go. Right there, man.
But his shrine has been pulled down.
Honestly, I'm a little sad to see this building gone.
They had an awning with him.
Yeah, right there on the corner.
And tore that down too.
Did they keep that shit, or did they just throw the shit in the trash like it's nothing?
I think they threw it away. I'm not sure. I can't quote you on that.
You know the mural that they had there? Did they even try to keep that shit, or they just threw it in the trash?
It was a fuck you to us. Yeah. That's what it was.
We got people saving Confederate monuments who store them in buildings and shit, and they tear down an iconic thing like this and don't hold it for us. It's an indicator of how little this system thinks about black people and things that are important to them.
In the 2016 presidential election, Donald Trump only won 10% of the vote in Baltimore City. Last year, the president labelled Baltimore as a disgusting rat and rodent-infested mess.
He's been an asshole his entire life, and everybody has known it. It's not something new. It's not like he became an asshole yesterday. He's been an asshole his whole life, and he was still elected to the office of president of the United States.
Decades of racism and neglect have left the average black family here earning only half what whites do.
I think most white people fail to get that it's them. It's you. It's not Trump. Most of you are fucking happy that Trump is there so you can say, I'm not like that. It's you. It's you. Like, for me, I feel sad and sorry for a fucking white person right now that they need racism in order to exist. That's some sad-ass living. You know, I don't need a handout. I just need you to move. You know, I'll find some way around you or through you if I need to, but just get the fuck out of the way.
Back in Minneapolis, the future is uncertain.
Breaking news in the killing of George Floyd, who the Minnesota Attorney General has announced the charges will be filed against all 4 officers.
From the ashes of the riots, there are signs of hope. Scott McDonald turned local business Pimento Jamaican Grill into a community support hub.
We've been waiting 500 years, and there hasn't been a white savior yet that's come and helped us. Because anytime we've pulled ourselves up, we've pulled ourselves up.
2 bags, do you need paper towel, toilet paper? Yep. We'll give you 1.
What we've got going on out here today is what we've been doing for the last 10 days. We're giving out goods and groceries to our community. This is definitely galvanizing this and many other neighborhoods in the city. You know what I mean? Like, you're forced to deal with each other at this point in time because it's us against the world, you know what I mean? It's people with their house brooms and dustpan. It's the community taking part in everything, taking care of itself. It'd be really nice to be able to turn the news on every now and then and see us helping each other instead of seeing one of us choke to death.
Officer Chauvin, the officer who had his knee on the neck of George Floyd for 9 minutes, his charges have been upgraded to second-degree murder.
9 minutes is a long time to think about doing the right thing. I'm telling y'all, it is our duty to fight for our freedom. We must love and serve one another. We have nothing to lose but our change. What do we want? Justice. Where do we want it? Now. Let's get
it. Time has come for change. Not satisfied with the charges against the police, the protesters want the Minneapolis Police Department completely dismantled.
The talks of defunding the police and dismantling the police, that's beautiful. That's exactly what needs to happen.
We demandedly say we want change.
Vice President of the City Council, Andrea Jenkins, is a leading voice for change.
We're not getting ready to disband the police tomorrow. We have to work with community and the police and the mayor and anybody else who is concerned about public safety in this community. We all have to come together.
Our commitment is to end our city's toxic relationship with the Minneapolis Police Department, to end policing as we know it, and to recreate systems of public safety that actually keep us safe.
The City Council has voted in favour of defunding the City Police and diverting that money into social services instead. George Floyd's death has left a lasting mark on this city.
Greater Baltimore on FM 101.5.
All right, welcome to the show. We continue to see protests across the nation following.
In Baltimore, JC Falk is on a new mission. He's feeding the vulnerable as COVID-19 grips the community. Up to 300,000 people across the city can't get the food they need.
That's half of the population of Baltimore struggling with food insecurities. You know, so that's always been there. It's not new. It's just got worse because of COVID-19, and it got spotlighted because of COVID-19. And now because of that spotlight, we can bring Be More Community Food into that spotlight, point out the problem, and then do something about the problem.
We got some more meats and stuff. You need some more meat? No, you good? Okay, good. And then how about you over there? You need some more stuff? Okay.
It's a weird-ass thing to say, man, but like, Freddie Gray, he changed my life, man. I never knew the dude. He changed me, man. He changed me into something different, you know? That we have, think about it in this country right now. There are people protesting in all 50 American states because a black man was killed. People are protesting because one black man was killed by police. Something's shifting.
We've got protests going on right now in Columbia, Roland Park, and Baltimore City leaders are thanking demonstrators, especially the youth, for rallying peacefully.
Black trans lives matter. Black trans lives matter.
Baltimore has been peaceful because the activists that are on the ground have evolved so much, have grown so much. We're way more wiser and smarter.
Here in Baltimore, the first USA flag was made. That flag is a flag of abomination, because that flag has yet to acknowledge the ones that built this country.
When people think about change, they think it's like flipping a new coin. It's like, oh, change, you know, it's like, oh, we're gonna go from bad to good.
Real truth, real justice.
Change doesn't work like that. Change is a slow grind.
We cannot be stopped, and we shall not stop. Black power. Black power.
What I can say with Baltimore, the people change. It's sad that it took Freddie Gray, but he gave voices to so many people. Freddie Gray created warriors.
Just follow me down to the job.
Devon Allen continues to capture the uprising. Once again, his photography has made the cover of Time magazine.
God's gonna trouble